Welcome back to Painted Studio, everyone. We are working on a pumpkin now. I know I said I was done with my pumpkin projects, but I came across these at Michael's that have this open hollow cut in them. They come in black, they come in natural pumpkin orange color. I'm using the black because we can do some more fun stuff with foils over these. Now, to prep for this, I cleaned it with alcohol to remove any handling oils, and I applied Faux Effects Set Coat Clear on here and let that dry overnight. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply some Artsyville foil adhesive. Now, as you all know, this is not how foil adhesive is shipped to you. This is my studio container. This is what I put it in so that I can not mess up a big jar. So now that this has set up with the set coat on here, we're going to put a layer of Artsyville foil adhesive on here, and we're going to start on the bottom. Why? Because I always start on the bottom. It just makes it easier for me. And you're going to apply this and brush it as smooth as humanly possible. Now, the foil adhesive does not have any self-leveling effects. So you have to brush it to get it as smooth as you can, because whatever brush marks you leave in there will stay in there. So we're going to keep brushing, and we're going to turn this into a wonderful, shiny, glittery lantern. Now be aware, there is a warning label here on the bottom of this pumpkin. Do not put real candles in here. It's plastic. It will melt. It will cause a fire. You don't need that. Nobody does. So I always like to remind people. That's why I actually leave this sticker on here, because every once in a while I think, oh, it'll be so pretty with a real candle, forgetting what things are made of. So don't do that. All right, and when you do something plastic like this, unlike other surfaces that you can apply the foil adhesive and it's ready to go in an hour to 2 hours, plasticky stuff like this, we tell you to let it sit a minimum of overnight. And then test your foil release on the bottom. Why? Because some of these pumpkins are even glossier than they look, and you can have a little bit of an issue getting a good release. So we always say test. Test, test, test. So we're going to cover this whole thing with the foil adhesive and then let it dry for at least 24 hours. Not overnight, a full 24 hours. So that means if you do it 11 o'clock one morning, don't even think about doing anything that day, come back and do it after 11 the next day. Now, once your foil adhesive sets up, it stays sticky forever. So don't worry about it drying out on you. Worry about letting it set up long enough. Now, I'm going to clear that out. So I've got my whole pumpkin covered. Coming back in and just smoothing out any brush strokes that I'm not happy with. And then I'm picking it up, putting my hand in it, and turning it around to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now, I don't care if it's not perfect down here on the bottom. Nobody's going to see that. But if you're really, really worried about that, take a little jar like this and set it up to dry on that. And that covers most of the bottom. Actually, it should cover the entire area that the sticker is. So now, right now, I'm going to set this one to the side, and we have one that's already prepped and ready to go. All right, had to wet my brush down a little bit, because if you leave your foil adhesive brush just sitting in water, foil adhesive might just decide it's going to stay on there permanently on your brush. Let me close this up. All right. So as you can see, this one is, I've done all the foil adhesive on it. It has been sitting for well over 24 hours. And we're going to use our brand new Kenji foil on here. Now I haven't used this on anything other than testing the release. Let me rub my hands a little bit because now I've got foil adhesive on my fingers. And that's only going to make this harder. Now the one thing to know with Kenji foil, sometimes it comes with this little silver band on it. Cut that off before you use it. It will make your life easier. And I have discovered when doing pumpkins, the best way to do this is to cut strips of foil. So I'm going to cut a bunch of strips. I've trimmed off some of the bottom on here already so I don't have to contend with the silver. I'm going to cut strips. And it doesn't matter if they're perfect, but what happens is the strips make it a little easier to wrap the shape. And as per usual, I even have a little foil adhesive on my scissors because in the studio everything gets a little messy. Okay, I have now run out of the spot where the silver is. Even on this, I'm just going to take it, snip it off. I do not want that silver on there. Because if I hit that silver stripe on something, it will leave just silver on my piece of foil, or on whatever I'm foiling. All right, so I'm going to take my foil, and I'm going to apply it carefully from the top to the bottom, smooth it out as nice and neatly as I can. I'm going to take my little scrubby brush here, roll it under, and I do not expect a perfect release on this. I do know though, however, it's going to stick a little bit even to my parchment paper. And I'm not scrubbing right up to this sharp edge because if I leave it a little blurred, the next piece of foil blends better. So we're going to pull this off. And I didn't get it in that crevice, so let me get back in there with my fingers. And let's go in. Now the nice thing with foil is you pull a little off, you see where it's not grabbing the way you want it to, you lay the foil back down, give it another little rub, release a little more. We're dealing with a grooved surface, so this could take a little work. Okay. Come on, down we go. And nice. So if you look here, you can see that beautiful Kenji pattern has been released. And I love this. This pattern almost has a subtle geode pattern to it. It's really, really pretty. Now, if I miss a spot, like right in here, that's not a big deal. I'll come back and grab a little more foil, patch it in. It'll look fantastic. And like I said, you can see that my parchment paper wants to stick, but not badly enough to ruin the foil adhesive. So that's a big thing. This is why I work on big sheets of parchment paper. Get my fingers into those grooves, give it a little rub. And don't worry if you have cracks and crevices and weird spots. You can foil it back over, you come back with more foil and seal those up if they don't make you happy, or you can find other foil and release them over the patches and create a whole new pattern. You can do a lot of things. You can put glitter over it. You can do all kinds of stuff that gives really cool looks. All right, there we go. So now you can see we have another patch there. And I'm just going to come in and use up some of this foil that's on this edge. Fill in the spot here. Now this is a very easy release foil, so sometimes I don't even need my scrub brush to do it. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And I have a little more right here that I can use to patch this in. Take some more. Okay, now that I've got a spot done that's easy for me to lay the pumpkin down and not have the paper getting stuck to it all the time, we're gonna start working the other way around. Let me get this patched in right there. Oh, come on. I did a bad job on that. All right, so now I can lay this pumpkin like this on a foiled area, and that's going to make my life a little easier. All right, so we're going to lay this down just like that. I'm going to come in, give this a little scrub. Getting that first foiled section down is really nice to have done, because then you can work on the other areas without the concern of your foil adhesive sticking to whatever surface you're working on. And let's get this. Okay, there we go. Tiny piece right there. And let's come back up here. And yes, you get these things in the most peculiar positions, because it's round, it's grooved, it's an odd shape, so be prepared. The fact that this has a nice big hole is actually so helpful, because I can stick my hand in here and get it more steady than I can with the normal plastic pumpkins that we usually are foiling on. All right, come on. There. Here. Now the one thing you will always need to do with this is, once you're done, you're going to need to seal this. Otherwise you may have sticky spots that picks up stuff, especially if you're planning to put them outside. Now foils and foil adhesive are not exterior rated, but these don't stay outside all year. They go, I've been doing this, and they go on my front porch every year, and which is fine. I just put an exterior rated top coat on them. If you're not putting them outside, then just seal them up with whatever polyacrylic you happen to have. My go-to is Faux Effects AquaGuard or Faux Effects Varnish Plus. Let's keep this here. Whoops. And I love those two. If I've got it outside, I usually use C500 because it's super strong. If you want to, you can get a top coat that has a UV protectant added. Faux Effects does do those. Those are special order products though. So just be aware of that. We don't keep those on the shelves. You have to special order that. Okay. Oh yeah, this is starting to look really nice. Now, we still have the one strip in the back and then the front, so let me get a little more here. So I'm gonna, sorry, this foil likes to unroll. So I'm gonna take a piece this big, set that to the side. Okay, I'm cutting off that silver strip at the top, making sure I don't have any of that on this piece of foil. Now, not all the foils have that strip, it's just that if you see it, you want to trim it off. It's a manufacturing thing. It's like having a selvage at the edge of a piece of fabric. It's just what it is. So just be aware of it, and if it's on a piece that you receive, trim it off. All right, so we're going to take another strip here. Let's move things a little bit because things are getting a little slidey. I try to anchor my paper this time, and sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. All right. All right, now let's peel this back. Get a bit of air. See, I can see where, you know, I was having pieces that were not coming all the way into from the grooves. You put this back down, give it a little rub. Now this, again, see I've got a little skip spot right here. I just need to give this a little buff with my finger. Now some foils are a little tougher release. That's just the nature of them. So doing it with your finger won't work. You'll need to come in with a brush and scrub it a little bit. Now if you notice, these pieces, a couple of these pieces I'm setting to the side because they'll be helpful when I get to the front. Now let's come here. Let's put this piece here. This should be the last for the back. I will check the top of this since it's facing the camera. At the moment, I can't always see if I've missed something. So I'm going to come in here on the bottom in the back, make sure I foil all that up because there's no need to leave sticky areas. Okay, that's well used up. I got a few small blank spots back here. Okay. Oops, things are sticking to themselves again. All right, so now I have these areas on the side to finish up. And we're looking really good. This is coming out really, really beautifully. I'm very pleased with this. Okay, let's get this. I'm trying to make sure I keep it centered for the camera too, because we all know, watching me do lives, I tend to hug my projects and then move them all over the place and get them out of camera range. So, but I think I'm pretty good today. Up. Let's come back down. This spot right here. let's get it into the groove. Very happy with this. This is releasing really nicely. Okay, so now we just have these short areas, and then I have to check the top. So I'm going to do this. As you can see, I am trying to use up every usable bit of foil. I don't want to waste it. Now, even if I wasn't using up whole pieces like I am today, we don't throw away foil scraps. We keep them in a big used foils bag in the studio. So when you order foils from us, we try to give you some scraps of things that you didn't order. So you might have a chance of trying a little bit of the new foils, oh, I don't know, on a pair of earrings or on something really small, or to fit in something interesting. Like it's a little bonus in your orders. Okay, that one's good. That one's quite used up. This part. Keep my upright. I'm going to come in and fill in a few spots on the side, and then I'm going to get that one center spot that I have yet to do. Okay, so I have this spot left. I have one nice big full piece of foil to work with. So we're going to drop it down like that. Come in. And yeah, I know I have little spots here on either side. I'll get them, I promise. The first thing I'm doing is going in with my fingers, pulling that back. There's that. And see, this foil doesn't really have a direction. So turning the foils around on it is absolutely not an issue. And one little spot right there. Okay. And that's where I touched that foil adhesive one too many times. Oh well, so there's a little spot there. I can either touch this up with more foil adhesive, or I can leave it alone and leave it as part of the pumpkin. Now I'm going to come in here at the top and get any of the spots that I didn't get because I was paying attention to the bottom. Sorry, I'm sliding things all over the place, so let me make sure I've got this in front of me. Let's come in here. All right, so we are beautifully foiled on this, as you can see from, this is the foil adhesive. See all that sticky stuff that the paper's sticking to? That's because I was leaning it on the parchment. So we have this beautifully foiled pumpkin. You can see there are breaks in the foil, which I think makes it look even better. Now my next option is I could come in, I could paint the stem, although I may leave this one as it is. Now, we're going to move some things for a second, set something over to the side. This is very cool this way, but we can make it more exciting. So we're going to take foil adhesive again, and we're going to apply it inside. And we're not going to foil the inside, we're going to apply glitter. Why? You'll see why once we're done. Whoops, I flipped a little water around, so let me take the water off my brush. because that'll make a mess. Okay. You know what, I think, whoops, I did not mean to do that. Oh, I may leave that there. I just spilled some foil adhesive on the table, so instead of wasting it, I'm going to dip into it and use it on the inside of this pumpkin. I am brushing the inside of the pumpkin with foil adhesive. Now, this is messy and gloppy, and it'll probably be relatively imperfect, but it will work really nicely for what I'm about to do. And this is the one time we're not going to wait for foil adhesive to dry. Now you can use black glitter, you can use, when we're done, this is going to be a glitter cove because that's going to reflect light. Sorry, I got to turn it towards me so I can see in here, because I got a whole side that I can't see. And this is one of those jobs where you're going to be sticky and messy doing this. Be aware of that. So either put on gloves or be prepared to scrub your hands when you're done. And I'm even going around this edge here because I want that glitter to grab up into the edge. Now I think I've got the whole thing here. Now, that does not have to be a perfect application. All right, this is going to be messy and my fingers are going to be coated with glitter by the time I'm done. So I'm taking some gold glitter. You can choose any color you want. And I'm going to pour it in here. I'm pouring a lot in here. And then you're going to take it and roll it around because it's going to grab onto the foil adhesive. Why am I doing this while the foil adhesive is wet? Because I find it grabs better than when the adhesive is dry. If I do this when the adhesive is set up, like for foiling, I get much less impact with the glitter. This one, when I do it like this, I can come in and I can roll it around, and then I can kind of go in and tap it down if I want to, because the moisture grabs much more than it does when it's dry. Okay, so now I'm going to stick my fingers in here and kind of go on the lip. And like I said, I'm going to be covered in glitter, so this is going to be kind of messy. So be prepared for that. Another reason to always have paper down is that once I've done this and I've made this whole huge mess here, I can fold the paper up and put it in the trash and then just wipe the table down. Doing this on a more permanent table cover makes one heck of a mess. Okay. So I have glitterized my pumpkin opening. I'm just going to set it like that on there. If it picks up a little glitter, I don't care because I haven't sealed it yet. Normally I would have sealed it and done that. But as you can see, let me move the jar of stuff that I'm slopping everywhere out of the way. As you can see, the pumpkin's glittery. Why do I want to do that? use battery operated candles in here. This one's a little small, but it illuminates the inside and you get way more reflection. Get your battery operated candles from Target, you get them from the dollar store, wherever you want, but look how pretty that is.